So the multifidus muscles are a group of muscles that actually go along your entire spine. In our back, we have large muscles called the erector spinae muscles, and they cross several vertebrae. So the vertebrae are the bones of our back that are stacked, and we've got 5 in the lower back, 12 in the mid back, and then 7 in the neck. And basically, the multifidus muscles, the multifidi are plural, they cross 2 to 3 levels of the spine along the entire spine. So from the neck all the way down to the base of our spine, every 2 to 3 levels, these muscles cross. And they're like little tiny guy wires on a bridge that create kind of segmental. And what segmental means is one segment on the neck segment. It creates control of those two segments. The big muscles, erector spinae, they are bigger muscles that cross several segments of the spine. And so when they move and when they activate, they often move several muscles at the same time, or even if they're activating without moving it, they create a force along several segments. So when we have low back pain, or even if you don't have low back pain, let's say you do have low back pain, maybe you have a disc injury, maybe you don't, but you just have back pain. Often what's happening is these deep muscles, the multifidus muscles, are not engaging properly. Sometimes what can be happening is on the side of pain. Let's say I have pain in my left lower back. The muscles on that side of the back at that segment where I have an injury might be delayed, meaning when I turn them on, even intentionally, I'm turning on the muscles, they might come on a little bit late on the side that I'm injured on, or maybe I can't even turn them on. And what happens is the bigger muscles of the back sometimes become overactive and they work too hard, and they can be part of the cycle of pain that's created. So it's really important to isolate these muscles, and isolation means we turn them on without any other muscles on. Another important thing is that the left and the right hand side turn on at the exact same time, at the same intensity, and can maintain the same length of contraction. So that's timing. The onset is at the same time. There's a smooth contraction, so it's not jumpy or jerky. And I can maintain that low level contraction, meaning it's not like 100%, but it's like a 10 to 20% feeling of tension under the thumbs that's felt, or not under the thumbs, just feeling the muscles. And that's maintained. So it's the timing left and right, same time, it's a smooth contraction, and I can hold it for a while. So that's really essential. These muscles are actually part of our core. They work with our pelvic floor and transverse abdominis to control movement of the back. They're really essential when we've got pelvic or back pain in getting rid of that pain, and working to develop better control in our back and pelvis. So I'm going to teach you how to turn those muscles on. These muscles essentially will come on in every other exercise that I'm teaching you, but you want to make sure that you can isolate them, meaning they can turn on without any other muscles, so that when you're actually turning them on, you know that they're doing a good job. So these are considered your core. The multifidus muscles come on with transverse abdominis and the pelvic floor when we're doing stability movements. Now, if you've been told by your therapist that your pelvic floor is overworking or overactive, and you're weaker in the transverse abdominis or the multifidus, then you would work to try to not engage your pelvic floor as much, try to relax it, and try to isolate and engage the deeper muscles of your abdomen and back. So I'm going to show you multifidus engagement. The best way to do it is to lie face down. And you want to try to be as relaxed as possible when you're in this face down position. Because if your head is even lifted like this, that activates all the muscles of your back, and it's going to be really hard to feel anything going on. So I'm going to rest my head down, and I'm going to go to the very base of my spine. So that's the segment where my spine meets the pelvis. So if I don't know what that is, I'm going to tilt my pelvis forward and back several times. And the segment at which the movement happens, that's the lowest level of my back. And I'll feel a bony protrusion, which is the spinous process of my spine. And basically I want my thumbs to slide just off that bony protrusion to the left and the right. Now it's really important that you're totally relaxed, because even as I'm talking, it's activating the bigger muscles of my back, so it's really hard to feel. So I'm relaxed here. So basically I'm on the spinous processes, my thumbs slide off like as if I'm sliding from a mountain into the valley. You're not going to feel anything, it's just a hole. And then there's different ways to activate the muscle. So I'm going to show you different ways you can do it. Now, it's not a movement. We're just activating the muscle. The muscle activates without movement. So the first thing I'm going to do is get this imagery like I'm spreading my sit bones. So the sit bones are the bones you sit on, and I'm imagining that I'm spreading those apart. And when I spread these bones apart, I'm activating the deep muscles of my back. So I want the left and the right side to turn on at the same time. So I'm going to take a breath, breathe out, and then I'm spreading my sit bones and I'm activating just the muscles under my thumbs. I want to really make sure that all the bigger muscles all the way up my spine stay out, and only the ones at the very base of my spine, very deep inside, those ones are activating. And then I relax. I'm trying to hold for about 10 seconds. I'm breathing in, breathing out, and I spread my sit bones. It's really almost like no movement at all is happening. It's almost an imaginary movement. Maybe a couple millimeters happen, but the muscle you will feel harden and tense under your thumbs. And then you relax. Now, if that doesn't feel like anything to you, what you can do is try to pull your thumbs together. So what you're going to do, your thumbs are in the exact same position. You're breathing in and breathing out. And then I'm going to imagine like I am pulling my left and right thumb together. Now, often when you use this cue, you might feel the deeper muscle of your abdomen come on. I want you to try to only use the back muscles and not use your tummy if possible. And that's called isolation. And it's hard to do. Now, if that one doesn't work for you, pulling the left and right thumb together and holding for about 10 seconds, the next one is you're going to imagine that your tail, so the base of your spine, is tilting upwards. So I'm not actually going to lift my pelvis. I'm just showing you to show you what the action is. It's like this bone is tilting up. So I'm going to do that a couple of times, and then I don't want to actually move. I want to imagine that I'm moving my tail up without moving, and that should activate the muscles on the left and the right hand side of the spine. Now, if you feel like the muscles in your back, these bigger muscles are turning on, you're not isolating the deep muscles of the back, the multifidi muscles. So I want you to try to do those on your own so that they come on left and right same time without the other muscles, and holding for 10 seconds and repeating 10 times. Now, if that becomes easy, you would hold for longer or do more repetitions.